On Primetime Business News, now a survey by Deloitte suggests that many businesses are at risk of losing a top talent at the moment. Many millennials, the young workers, have one foot out the door already. Well, let's discuss this report. We're joined by Vanna Nieuwoud from Deloitte. Great to have you with us, Vanna. So this is a global report. Just tell me the main findings and does it relate to South Africa?
Thanks, Francis, for having me here. Yeah, it's a global report. It was just recently released by Deloitte, run over 29 countries, of which South Africa participated in that process. I think some of the main findings coming out is to say that there's about 25% of your young millennials, and that's people born after 1982 from a definition perspective, is currently looking for alternative employment within the next year. That escalates to about 44% towards 2020, or it goes up to 76% in terms of more than two-thirds from a South African context. Globally, that is about 69%. So actually, South Africa is a bit worse in terms of millennials looking at alternative employment. Main reasons for that is basically lack of leadership development opportunities within organizations, also lack of flexibility regarding working arrangements, and also work-life balance. I think that those are the main themes that comes through in terms of people looking around for alternative employment.
From an older worker's perspective, often people complain, these young people are coming in, they're talented, but they don't want to learn the ropes. They don't want to stay. They want to be promoted immediately or they leave and they get bored very quickly. Is this confirming that cliche?
Look, that is the older generation view. Obviously, this report is trying to kind of deal with that and to put it into perspective. Obviously, older generations are thinking they're impatient for promotion. They don't like criticism. They don't want to earn their stripes. They just want to be promoted to senior levels within the organization. Obviously, I think if you put it in context, some of that might be interpreted that way. But the reason for that is they are looking for opportunities and for companies to nurture them into roles. So I think that if you look at companies that's successful with millennials, in terms of looking at their retention within the organization, is where they provide them with leadership development opportunities, where they provide them specifically with mentorship. I think mentorships are one of the key things that came out of our report to say where companies have a structured program around that, millennials tend to stay within the organization. And I think the other thing that's also important is that, millennials are not only about profit. Sometimes companies can overstate the profit-only phenomenon within the organization. They look about people development, people within the organization, customers, society, broader products, the type of products that companies are offering to the market out there. And also, I think they want to belong to a purpose. A company there needs to be purpose in their life. And I think those are some of the trends that came through the report.
It's very interesting because on one hand you can say millennials are very self-focused. On the other, you're saying they have these values, which is great, and they want a company that reflects those values.
Yeah. What was important in the report as well is that their objectives are pretty traditional in terms of their life objectives. They want to own a house, they want to have one life partner, they want to have financial security, and they want to have a decent retirement at the end of the day. So it's not a kind of an opulent, lavish type of lifestyle that they want. They want the traditional stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that the report confirms that. And the other thing I think it's important from the report perspective is they do recognize that business has moved in terms of doing more good from a society perspective.
Which bodes well for the future, because we've been talking about sustainable growth, things like that, and now we have a generation that cares. But let me ask you, what does this mean for companies? Because the big complaint is always that you invest in new talent, you pay for incredible training, and then they leave. Does this mean you give up, or like you say, do you even focus even more on mentorship, on a clear career path for these young people?
Yeah, I think companies shouldn't give up. I think the reality is that what comes to the report is personal values drives millennials, okay? And you need to ensure that you understand and have appreciation for the personal values of this generation, and that you can actually align your organization to accommodate that. And I've spoken about the leadership development opportunities, the flexibility around working hours. A lot of them say we want to work from our homes, but very little of them actually get the opportunity to do that. Around work-life balance, okay? And it's more so in terms of the unmarried millennials than the married millennials. So there's some nuances in terms of the feedback that we got from the report. But I don't think companies should give up. They should pay attention to the millennials. 20% of millennials are already on executive level, sitting on boards of companies and are running departments within organizations. So the voice is there, and they don't change their personal values as they move up the corporate ladder. So that's for the junior ones, for the junior millennials as well as the senior ones, it's exactly the same.
I love this fact, the values coming through. Finally and very quickly, are they being overly optimistic? If everybody wants to leave, we've just been talking about this global economic climate that's in the dumps, and in South Africa we're struggling.
Look, I don't think they're overly optimistic. I think they're realistic in terms of where they are from a corporate perspective. So I think, if you nurture them and if you pay attention to them and you talk to them, I think the reality is they will stay within your organization. But a lot of people are actually having that thing. They don't want to earn their stripes. They just want to have quick success, instant gratification, and we're not that kind of organization. I think those days are gone, okay? Yeah,
and they probably will find jobs if they do leave, because we're talking about skilled young people as well. Thank you so much for your insights. That was Werner Nevote from Deloitte. We'll have more news. Unfortunately, that's the end of business.